Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all enjoying the game no matter whereabouts in the world you are playing at this moment. Recently we've been talking a lot about the free-to-play teams, where you can use them, who's best for the arena, that kind of thing. Today I want to move in a little bit closer and specifically talk about the trolls. Now at the moment there are only two trolls that are unlockable in the game, Gruja the Brute and Gaza Ironhide. At the moment the Brute is actually my favorite simply because I got him early, I started working on him and I've been building him into my bulk team, which is where he works very well. The question is though, is he better than Gaza Ironhide or not? So if we have a quick look here, his main attack is quite brutal, he can do quite a lot of damage. His second attack there, which is his AoE attack, that can do a lot of damage. He's got a really high base attack, but besides the damage, it also inflicts expose on all the opponents, which reduces their armor by 50%, allowing you to do even more damage with some of your heavy hitters. His third ability is probably where he loses a couple of points against Gaza, simply because this one here puts daze on all your opposition and it gives all of your allies might. So it doesn't do any damage, but it does put the buffs and debuffs out on the field. And if you are using that bulk team, you know how much damage they can do, so adding might to them is just going to help them just that little bit more. And his passive ability will put poison on anyone that attacks him. Once that's maxed out, it's guaranteed to apply that poison debuff. Now the only real downside to this is you kind of have to have him in that team, at least with Nuraz in there, because he forces trolls to provoke. And as you can see, there are a couple of poison debuffs out on the field there coming into play. So he is very effective in this team. Where he does kind of fall back a little bit is, I mean, yes, you can play him in other teams. He is a good damage dealer, so he'll always do that part for you. However, he won't be as effective outside of this team. The other drawback for him is that you can't farm him in any of the nodes. He is available in the main store, which means you do have to farm him using crystals. So in the early game you do get a lot of crystal prizes, and there are also daily payouts on crystals, so it is possible to farm him, which is the way that I unlocked him here. He will unlock at 2 stars, so if you wanted to get him up to the 4 stars, the same as Gaza, that's going to cost you another 100,000 gold once you've farmed those shards to promote him. Now just heading over to lotr.gg to look at the max stats of the Brute here, you can see he's got really good health, really good damage, his armor is a little bit low, but overall he does have some very good stats that are a little bit higher than Gaza, although his speed is quite slow. But his advantage does come with that damage there, because his AoE attack can be maxed out at 200% damage, and you can do that every second turn. And in the meantime, he is soaking up that damage and putting those poison debuffs on the opponents if they do try and attack him out of turn. Now when we compare that to Gaza, you can see his overall health and damage is quite a bit lower, but his armor is where he comes into play, so he can reduce that damage just a little bit further, and his speed is a little bit faster as well. Now if you have come up against a well-geared Gaza at all, you will understand that you need to take this guy out pretty quickly. He has 2 AoE attacks, and both of them hit like an absolute truck. Now that second one there also has the advantage of taking away buffs from the opposition. Now that takes away things like taunts, counter attacks, healing, all kinds of different things. So you can really throw your opponent's strategy out just in one swipe from this guy. His cooldowns are a little bit longer than the Brute, so you can't use the moves as often, but because he's a little bit faster, he does have that slight advantage over the Brute. But the fact that he does have much higher armor means he is reducing that damage, so in a way he will survive the battle a lot longer. But the main reason that I would put him slightly ahead of the Brute would simply come down to his versatility. He can work in a lot more teams than what the Brute does. Because he is so tanky, he does absorb a lot of damage and he can really take out the opposition quite quickly. Now this AoE attack here is designed for him to work mostly in a full Mordor team, because for every injured Mordor ally, he'll do an extra 5% damage. So for an attack that can already clean up an entire team, you can add an extra 20% damage on top of that in a full Mordor team. Now where he does have a slight drawback is just the fact that he takes so long to grind out. You will find him at the end of the first chapter of the guild missions, which makes him very accessible early in the game, but he does take 180 shards to unlock. But once you do eventually grind him out, you will get a 4-star troll straight off the bat. Any time that you can have a free to play character unlocked at 4 stars, you really want to take advantage of that, because as I explained with the other troll, those extra promotions up to 4 stars can cost a lot of gold, and at the moment you'll find that gold is something that's really hard to come by. In conclusion, both of these trolls are very good characters to have, but if I had to pick one, I would say Gaza would probably be slightly in front, mainly because of his accessibility and the fact you can unlock him at 4 stars. The 2 AoE attacks that he has, and also that he's able to dispel some of those buffs on the opposition, it does give him that advantage. So if you are just starting out wondering which troll you should get, I would definitely say go with Gaza. He is one that's going to get you ahead a lot faster. And if you were going to use crystals to unlock the Brute anyway, just use them to refresh your guild energy, because there are a lot of other resources that you're going to be able to farm at the same time as you're farming the Gaza shards. Not only will he help you get through those Shadow Side chapters, he's also going to be a really good character to have in the arena team. And as you can see from this battle here, he does draw a lot of your focus in the early part of this battle, so the rest of the team start picking away at your characters, making it a lot more difficult to gain control of the match. So make sure you do yourself a favor early on, farm him until you unlock him, then you want to gear him to the moon. He will be a really great character for you guys to have. That's it for this one, guys. Don't forget, like and sub, you know the deal. We've got plenty more Heroes of Middle-earth coming your way. Don't miss out, and we'll catch you in the next one.